Hi, so first of all, there will be no spoilers in this video. Secondly, this is my second take of the video. The first one I ran out of storage space, so I didn't get too far though. So anyway, today, also I'm not exiting hiatus. This is just something I saw online on like a forum, and I thought, oh, this guy's, his points kind of resound with me, and so I'm going to try to like spread it online because I was thinking like, where do people like this is just a random forum, no one is ever going to see it. Maybe if this video gets some views, the argument will actually spread. So first of all, I want to say, I'm a Kimetsu no Yaiba fan, I'm a Fate fan, and I was fine with Ufotable for Kimetsu no Yaiba for the most part, although I feel like they made it too much like Hollywood schlock. But now I'm starting to see why Ufotable is absolutely garbage. So I'm going to be using mostly Fate Stay Night to explain why. So this cork board is basically AI slop. So we're just going to get rid of this. But let me just state my thesis first. Firstly, obviously in a visual novel or light novel, you need to cut a lot of the internal monologue, but they completely cut it out, which makes Shiro feel like a total retard and blockhead, which is not good. And then the problem is that you have to pick the right number of the right scenes, right? But for example, in a visual novel, you might have 100 scenes that allow you to slowly build up how much you like a character and make them feel like family. But in the anime or Heaven's Feel movie, for example, you can only pick like a couple scenes. So they just picked like these basic scenes and did not really do anything more than just put them on the screen. So it's like, oh, here's Sakura learning to fold laundry. But that does not really endear you to the character in any particularly strong way. Like you could see that in like a, typical slop Hollywood movie. Like even the worst ones could have writing like that. So for an adaptation, you really need to bring something above and beyond to summarize a lot of scenes because you only have a couple, right? But that's not even my biggest point. My biggest point is that basically you even for the scenes they did pick, for everything that was a non-battle scene, everything looked bad. So the facial expressions, first of all, were very, very dry, like almost no expressions, which is a big problem actually, because most people who are watching, they won't consciously know why, but they'll be thinking, oh, this part of the movie was kind of boring. I don't know why, probably because there weren't any fights. And they'll be like, oh, because there aren't fights, Fate is only about the fights and blah, blah, blah. And so everything else is boring. But that's actually because Ufotable sucks at adapting. And so if you look at, for example, here you have Fate Stay Night by Dean. I'm not saying Dean is perfect. In fact, they're pretty trash, but they have a lot of atmosphere. Look at the colors in the background. It's not like this, like, oh, we need like 4K NVIDIA upscaled like AI shit. No, it's just like we have a bunch of color, strong facial expression. On the bottom, meanwhile, that's by Ufotable, and this is supposed to be a pretty decisive moment. Like the characters should be pretty emotional here, but look at how empty and dry the face is compared to the top. So Ufotable basically has like no animation, no atmosphere whenever it comes to these slice of life or non-battle scenes. So even these serious like dramatic scenes, as long as it's not like in a battle, it's just soulless. So when you actually get into a battle, like those are good. They look cool. So basically, these Ufotable adaptations are less adaptations. They're more like AMVs of fight sequences. That's basically it. So I'm hoping to end this video within 10 minutes. So hopefully I don't drag on as usual. So let me actually take you through a very good example because here the user put this together. I think on the forum, I think this means the green or yellow, whatever these are. This is probably, as you can see, no fight is happening. Whereas in the orange, okay, so don't look too closely at what's happening here if you don't want to get spoiled, right? But in the orange, these are obviously battle scenes, and this is chronological. So as you can see, when you like, oh, I shouldn't do that. Okay, so let me see if I can still recover things. Okay, good. So when you see all of these like, non-battle scenes, all the faces are very blank, and here this girl is supposed to be like really scared because this guy is about to lose, but the faces are so blank, and then meanwhile you have like 10,000 frames, like literally probably 10,000 animation frames of just this like guy who is berserker, so he's like mindless, he does not really have a character besides like occasionally, but yeah, and then here this character is like really is also not really a character, it's just like a glorified bouncer, right? So these two people with literally no character, no personality, are fighting each other for like 10 minutes at 1,000 frames, and you couldn't spare a single frame to make this girl's facial expression a little bit more a little bit more impressive, right? You see, like, this is literally just a few lines and like a circle. And then they also tried to like show her anger or whatever by like having her grip her fist, like just zooming into the fist and like a quick clench. Like that is so weak. It's the most basic thing ever. And then you have Shiro in the last movie of Heaven's Feel, and he's like, to try to show how torn he is, how like broken he is, they have him like punch his thighs a couple times. Like, what is this? I swear Ufotable is autistic. Like, they literally do not have any concept of human expression or ways to portray, that a person is currently in a current state of mind without the most basic dumb way. And so you can see here, like, you have a ton of action, just a ton of action on the bottom here. And then meanwhile, like, the actual human part is just nothing. So yeah, I think all the visuals I've pretty much exhausted, but let me think about what else I want to say. Let me pause for a second. That's right. Okay, there's one more thing I wanted to say. Let me see if I can find the image somewhere. Here we go. Okay, so this is an example of how they messed up. For example, the part that they actually chose to put into the story, but the presentation is garbage. So, actually, this isn't even. So there's two easy examples that I can make. The first one is not this one. It's when Shiro's in a car, and it's literally 1 minute of a 3D CGI car moving through like Japanese mountains, and that's the entire like visuals. And in it, we're actually hearing. I believe this is okay. You know what? Like, I'm not gonna say the guy's name, but you'll know if you watch it. It's like a very, I would say, considerably deep character investigation on a person. A lot of people are curious about, and this guy's finally bearing his soul. Inside this car. And instead of getting any visuals of their faces, like close-ups, like facial expressions, grimaces, whatever, we literally just get a 3D CGI car for a full minute in this like final movie. And I don't think I'm exaggerating with that, a full minute. It's just like showing you how twisted or retarded Ufotable's priorities are. And here we have you probably shouldn't read the text too much, but actually this is not a huge spoiler, whatever. But anyway, so here they're finally giving like this huge lore on what actually is this Grail War. And this is supposed to be showing a person who's like just a manifestation of sin, who suffered so much, everyone cursed him, he's just pure evil, whatever. And this is in, you see it says a small Zoroastrian village. And so for some reason, instead of actually like, showing us the village or showing us the people, doing it maybe symbolically, they literally show us stills. I'm not kidding. You probably can't tell from like the user, whoever posted this should have used like a video, like a WebM or whatever, but for some reason he made this like collage, whatever. So the point is, like, these were actually stills. Like, these people were not even animated. And basically, these are just like random Japanese like people, a random bike, random crosswalk. It has literally nothing to do with an ancient small Zoroastrian village where one person is being stuffed with sin and like cursed and like worshipped as a god. Like, this is literally, the visuals and the text have no correlation. And so some people who, and this is normal, people who don't usually think too much about this kind of thing, and this is normal, who just like consume this content, will be like, oh, this part was boring, but that's probably just because Fate is only about fights, like these little like lower parts, no one really cares, blah blah blah. But one big reason why people don't care is that Ufotable literally just botched it. They literally just pasted like these Google Maps images during the whole exposition. Yeah, no shit, the exposition is going to be boring as hell. So let me think if there was anything else I wanted to say. I think I'm almost done though. Oh yeah, so I've been told that Ufotable is kind of like does this by default. I have not seen too many of their adaptations, but I do know for Kimetsu no Yaiba, why they did a slightly better job is because if you think about it, you'll realize the manga already has a storyboard. So they don't have to decide what to cut especially. They don't have to decide how to present things too much. So it's hard to completely mess up, right? That's why Kimetsu no Yaiba as an adaptation, the adaptation quality is better than Fate, in my opinion. Okay, so I just scrolled through the forum again, and there's like a lot of examples I could give from that mostly this one guy shared. But I think I'm just gonna say, basically, in the first movie they have like 30 minutes of stuff you could skip, and then they didn't skip it. And then in the last movie, that's why they it almost feels like they had a fourth movie they canceled, because the third movie is so damn rushed. Literally nothing landed. Everything just felt like very surface level. So you know what? I think I'm gonna conclude Oh, one other thing is like at the start of movie three, this one character who like gets kind of edgy. The presentation is so cringe. It's literally like how can I say this without spoiling it? It's like okay, you know what? So if you don't want to get spoiled or get a hint, skip like 10 seconds ahead, starting now. But the yandere moment, and that's basically all I want to say. Blah, 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 blah. Five, four, three, two, one. Okay, so hopefully you skip 10 seconds ahead. Basically, the moment I just said in those 10 seconds was so cringe. They boiled down kind of like a, you know, like a normal human, I could say like a within the range of human expression, and they just turned it into it like an anime trope, like a trope archetype character kind of thing. So my point is just like at the start of a movie three, you should know which character if you know what I'm talking about. Ufotable has no sense of subtlety. They have no sense of creativity. Even Jujutsu Kaisen season 3 adaptation was way better, even though like people can complain about it, but no, compared to Ufotable, they did a great job. And Mappa is crappa, dude. But for JJK season 3, at least compared to Ufotable, bro, they're like 10 times better. Um, so yeah, basically, I'm just gonna try to re-summarize everything real quick. I'm already at 11 minutes, so basically they cut a bunch of scenes that make characters work. For example, making us care about the relationships between the main girls in Heaven's Feel. Um, Instead, we just have one quick thing between like two of the girls. I'm not going to say because it's a spoiler, but you should know what I mean. They cut those slice of life or development scenes. For the ones they don't cut, they just present it in a very plain way with bad animation, no changes or going above the top, going above and beyond. And it's just yeah, very low effort. And no wonder you can't get invested into the characters. So that's why when you get to the fights, it's just like watching the Sakuga and like huge explosions and like watching their post processing effects and like so on. So basically, I don't know what is wrong with Ufotable. Like they have some kind of problem with their directors. Sotozaki, for example, who was behind all the Heaven's Feel movies. This guy, I cannot trust him with anything. He's behind Kimetsu no Yaiba's movies and whatever. Oh yeah, so this guy for Kimetsu, when he did the Mist Pillars backstory, there was a scene where like the I think explained Sotozaki's mindset, his like just horribly shallow mindset where the mist pillar's twin is like chopping the vegetables, and it's meant to show that he's like going through a lot of stress, kind of like anger and also like worry. And so what Sorozaki does is like zoom into like the radishes he's chopping once, and it's like bam, and then he chops one, and then zoom from another like angle, bam, and then he chops another one, and then another zoom, bam, and it's like super intense. And I feel like that's basically how he interprets all emotions. It's like, oh, let's get it like bam, super loud on the screen, and like let's just show how it is. It's kind of like Shiro punching his legs really hard in the third Heaven's Feel movie. It's like, okay, yeah, I get you're trying to say he's like angry or in like a tough mindset, but you could surely do it with a bit more finesse. A lot more finesse than like, oh, I'm gonna punch my leg hard, or oh, I'm gonna chop the vegetables really hard because I am mad, bro. Like this is really, yeah, it's just not good. So basically, all they have is like battle animations and stuff. Um, and they cut out all the philosophy, so to speak, I would say. Fate is actually a lot about philosophy, and characters all stand for something, and it's the whole story is kind of like what kind of person Shiro can become, and how he grapples with like his, mindset and views that, just fight against other people's views and so on. So, anyway, I think that's about all I wanted to say. Um, Thank you for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Next video is coming probably never or like 2028. But yeah, definitely I would recommend reading the visual novel, or at least read the yeah, for example, just read the visual novel. And yeah, I should probably just end the video. Okay. Thank you. Bye.